Breaking news out of the NBA here on CBS Sports HQ. The Los Angeles Lakers are hiring Bucks assistant Darvin Ham as their next head coach. That is per multiple reports and confirmed by our Bill Reiter. Ham has been an NBA assistant coach for the last 11 years, spending the past 4 seasons with Milwaukee. The Athletic reporting that Ham will sign a 4-year deal with the Lakers. All right, so let's bring in the coach, Avery Johnson, who joins us via telephone to give us some reaction to this and talk a little bit about this. Coach, I'll first just get your reaction to this news. Darvin Ham is the new head coach of the LA Lakers. What do you think?
So excited for Darvin Ham. I believe out of the 3 finalists for this job, he was the best candidate. Sure, the other guys are well accomplished, but this is Darvin Ham's first coaching job. He's been a coaching savant in terms of, just being on all those different coaching staffs. He won a championship with the Bucks as an assistant. So he's from basically that Spurs coaching tree because Mike Budenholzer, who he worked for years, is from the Spurs coaching tree. And now Darvin Ham, even though he's spending time as an assistant with the Spurs, he basically is getting grandfathered in to that coaching tree because of his opportunity to work for Mike Budenholzer, who worked for the legendary Greg Popovich. So really excited about this move. The big thing for him now is what's going to happen with Russell Westbrook. And maybe throughout the interview process, he probably convinced the Lakers that he had a solution for that situation.
And good news for him as well. LeBron James appears to be on board with the decision. LeBron tweeting out on Twitter that he was so damn excited. Congrats and welcome, Coach D. Ham. #Lake Show. What does it mean to have LeBron on board for this?
This move couldn't have been made, or this hiring, without LeBron's blessing. I believe that LeBron James, though he's not the GM, maybe he's the de facto GM, but when you look at the Buss family and all of the folks, GMs, and now I've heard Phil Jackson has a voice, but LeBron James' voice is the loudest at the end of the day. If LeBron James doesn't sign off this, Darvin Ham is still an assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks. So fortunately, he signed off on it, and now that's going to be able to help Darvin Ham, especially as in tough times, when tough times, hard times come. When he has a LeBron James on his side to, be in his corner, especially when things go south, then that's a great ally to have. All of your top coaches and players have an opportunity to be successful when the best player on the team is in your corner.
Coming off a 33-49 season, worst record for a team that has LeBron James on it. So, Coach, what do you think it was that set Ham apart from Kenny Atkinson and Terry Stotts in this process?
Well, I just think you got to have a coach that has a presence and a coach that's going to be a no-nonsense guy. The Lakers really lack discipline. They're not going to be an undisciplined team with Darvin Ham. They may not make a shot some nights, but they're not going to be undisciplined. He's going to bring that presence, court presence. And I just think in terms of dealing with the front office, it's a situation that whatever his decisions are, they're not going to circumvent what he wants to do as a coach. And there was a lot of dissension there, and Frank Vogel wanted to do one thing, the front office wanted to do another. I don't think that's going to be the case with Darvin Ham. So in this tough Western Conference with the likes of the Golden States and the Mavericks and Phoenix and Memphis is coming. New Orleans is a team on the rise. The Clippers will get Kawhi and Paul George back next year. There's not much margin for error in this tough Western Conference. But I think Darvin Ham, especially with LeBron James over the next year or two, he gives them their best chance to have some success.
Avery, you've been a head coach in the NBA. Obviously, it is a pressure cooker no matter where you are, but he is going to the Los Angeles Lakers, which is a special kind of pressure cooker. He comes in as an NBA champion, having won with the Bucks. What advice would you give Darvin Ham as he takes over this team?
Well, my advice would be rinse and repeat what Ime Udoka has done in Boston with the Celtics. Go in there and reconstruct this team defensively. First, And even if you're struggling around January, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to end. Hang in there with your team, but you got to get that defensive first mentality. I know offense is sexy, but look at what Ime has done with the Celtics. Independent of what happens tonight, he's transformed that Boston Celtics team. They have an opportunity where they only need to win 1 out of 2 games to go to the finals. And if he can do that and transform a team, especially a team that has been putrid in the third quarter defensively, probably in the bottom 5 of the NBA in the third quarter defensively. If he can do that, I think that'll help reignite this franchise and give them a chance to maximize their potential.
CBS Sports NBA analyst Avery Johnson, we call him the coach, hopping on the phone with us to talk about the Lakers hiring Darvin Ham as their next head coach. Thanks very much, Avery. Appreciate your time. Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ from the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers are hiring Bucks assistant Darvin Ham as their next head coach. That news confirmed by CBS Sports NBA writer Bill Reiter. Ham has been an NBA assistant coach for the last 11 years, spending the past 4 seasons with Milwaukee, where he did win an NBA championship. Now, The Athletic reporting that Ham will sign a 4-year deal in Los Angeles. For more reaction to this news, let's bring in the champ, Rip Hamilton. Rip, you played against Darvin Ham and have some insight into what kind of a guy the Lakers are getting. Tell us about him.
Yes, and actually played with me on that 2004-2005 championship team in Detroit. And D. Ham was a guy that came every day with his hard hat and his Timberland boots on. He was probably one of the most hardest working guys on our team. And the one thing that I loved about him, he was always a student. Even at times when he didn't play a whole lot of minutes, he was constantly right next to Larry Brown, learning, asking questions. And when you got a guy like that as a player, you start to think that one day he can possibly be a head coach. So I think this is great for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'll ask you, Rip, I asked the same question to Bill, and I'll ask you the same one. What does it say to you as a player when you see LeBron James tweeting out his excitement about this particular hire? No,
that's awesome, because I think that everybody, that was the first thing that everybody was thinking is what is LeBron James thinking? And he kind of validated the Lakers' decision, saying that he's excited about having D. Ham as a coach. The one thing about LeBron, he knows, especially, he's a guy that is very understanding of the game and knows the former players that played this game. So D. Ham is a well-respected individual, not just a basketball player, but respected person in the league. So this is a situation, man, that it should be fun. It should be exciting, especially when your best players are validating that it's a great choice.
Well, and this is a challenging position, obviously, with the situation with Russ, LeBron, and AD, not having spent a lot of time together on the court last year due to injuries. So when you look at Ham and the job that's in front of him, what's the first order of business that he needs to sort out, do you think?
Well, first of all, they got to figure out to see that, he probably got to talk with management to see if all 3 superstars is coming back. That would be first. And then 2, what type of players are they going to put around them guys, because last season they tried to put more defend first type of guys. A couple of the guys on the wing, but also they got more athletic, more length, but they didn't get the shooters, especially around them guys. So I think that will probably be the first question: what type of team we have coming back, and if we do got all 3 superstars coming back. The one thing that I always felt though D. Ham was really good at is managing egos. He got opportunity to be in Milwaukee and coach a young Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then with Drew Holiday becoming a star and Chris Middleton. So he understands how to try to manage three All-Stars, 3 guys that probably are going to be Hall of Famers, to try to get them all on even court.
We're following breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ from the NBA, where the Los Angeles Lakers have themselves a new head coach. They are hiring Bucks assistant Darvin Ham, according to multiple reports. Now, Ham has been an assistant for the last 11 years in the NBA, spending the past 4 seasons with Milwaukee, where he has won an NBA championship as an assistant. The Athletic reporting that Ham will sign a 4-year deal with the Lake Show. Let's bring in NBA writer Bill Reiter in a second. First, LeBron James getting the stamp of approval, giving the stamp of approval. So damn excited, he says congrats and welcome to Coach D. Ham. A great message coming from LeBron right out of the gate following the announcement that Darvin Ham is their next coach, following just minutes after the announcement. All right, let's bring in Bill Reiter, our NBA guy. He is on the phone with us. Bill, I'll get your reaction to this as Darvin Ham, the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, Jeremy, I think it's a really exciting hire for the Lakers for a lot of reasons. You just talked about a lot of them. Just go down the list. He has history and experience with the Lakers, was an assistant under Mike Brown and Mike D'Antoni for a couple of years. That's very important to the Bucks family, that there's a connection and some familiarity. He absolutely was the candidate for LeBron James. That might be the most important factor. But I think for Lakers fans who actually want this to work, what's really encouraging is the championship that he's a part of as an assistant with the Bucks. And the fact this is a guy, if you talk to players, people that understand the dynamic in the locker room, very well respected in Milwaukee. And if you talk to GMs and executives around the NBA who view things often through a different prism of would-be head coaches, a lot of positive things to say, a lot of expectations. Ham's going to be a very, very good head coach. I think it's expected, and I think it has the potential to be a really good hire for the Lakers.
What kind of a message does it send that LeBron is basically like right out of the gate before it's even, I mean, it's just out there in the news and LeBron is already tweeting congratulations. What kind of a message does that send to the rest of the Lakers?
Do you know what I think it is? It's a great question. This is classic LeBron, and you can love it or you can hate it, but this is the deal you get when you bring LeBron in. And LeBron James has been doing this for the 12 years I've been covering him, going back to my days in Miami with the guy. This is LeBron reminding everyone that he is in charge, or at least has massive influence. He's done this in the past, tried to manage the narrative, bend it to the idea that he has massive say when it wasn't always true. It wasn't always true in Miami. And he's doing it now with the Lakers where it is absolutely true. In fact, while we're talking, I'm texting with the Lakers sources, and there's an excitement from the folks in that building, and there's an acknowledgement from one of the sources, this is what LeBron wanted, and that obviously carries a lot of sway with Jeannie Buss, with Rob Pelinka, and with the decision makers in that organization.
Bill, obviously this is one of the marquee coaching positions in the NBA, but just how challenging is this situation as Ham comes in?
I think it's an incredibly brutal and difficult job. And I understand why you take the job. There aren't very many of them. There are 30 of these roles that exist on the face of the earth. You get to coach LeBron James, and you get to be someone who is in charge of a storied organization. But Anthony Davis's health has not been reliable. They are in cap hell right now, and we all know, Jeremy, not to pick on Russell Westbrook, but he's going to opt into that $40+ million deal. There's not going to be a large market, if any market, for him. He's probably going to be there. And the need to navigate and integrate Russell Westbrook into that team, and not just get production, but get the kind of production and the kind of fit that leads to an actual competitive team in terms of an NBA championship next year. That is the expectation for day one. That's hard for anyone, particularly someone without head coaching experience. So, of course, you take the job, but I think it's going to be a very, very difficult task to live up to what is always the goal, what is always the expectation when you coach LeBron James, and that's being in contention to win an NBA title next year.
Yeah, these three only played 21 games together in 21-22. Lakers went 11-10 in that time. NBA writer Bill Reiter confirming the news that the Lakers are hiring Darvin Ham as their next head coach. Bill, thanks for hopping on with us to discuss this new hiring in Los Angeles.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.